Hey guys, a video for our castles and old buildings in Japan playlist. This is the outer moat of Osaka Castle. That's the keep up there. It's been rebuilt. It's not an original keep. It's been rebuilt. It's a replica. So as always with our castle videos, we try to take them from the outside walking in to give us the feeling of what it would be like to try and attack the place, seeing it from a strategic point of view. And just the imagery as well, what we see while we're walking in. So obviously this would be the first barrier here, would be the moat, and that big wall, which would have been more heavily fortified across the top. And as we look along that wall, we see places where the wall comes out. See that spot there? They would have had towers on top of them, guard towers, specifically to protect the rest of the wall. So anybody that tried to climb up that wall would be in crossfire from the different towers. And then as you come across the moat, you approach the wall, and there's obviously going to be a tower. There would have been a tower on the left and the right here. They could rain down arrows and musket balls at you. So see the 90-degree angles. We see this all the time in Japanese castles. If you did manage to get through that gate that would have been there would have been a gate between those two towers behind us. If we managed to get through to here, we've now got the guys still above us, in the towers above us, plus the guys on the walls in front of us. There would have been another tower there on that wall that sticks out. And then the guys up in that guardhouse up there. Plus the guys on the wall behind us that goes around us. So we'd actually have guys all around us at this point, raining down arrows and musket balls. Having said that, this castle was built about 1590 something, 1596, and 15 years later it was actually taken. So they built it, and then 15 years later it was attacked and taken, so it fell. So it wasn't impregnable. The only one we know of, one of the most popular ones, or the most famous ones for being impregnable, was Himeji, which you guys would have seen, classic examples of that. Himeji was never taken, never attacked, because they must have thought it was too hard. So 1620 this gatehouse was built. Because obviously when they attacked it, 1615, something like that, 1619, they attacked it and destroyed lots of it to get in. And then once they owned it, they had to rebuild it. So that guardhouse was rebuilt in 1620. So most of the structures that are still standing, obviously a lot of the other guardhouses and those sorts of non-rock structures like this, you can see why a structure like that would disappear over 400 years. But a lot of those structures are missing, but most of what we're seeing here was rebuilt about 1620, except for the main keep itself, which was rebuilt in the early 1900s. So other than the rock walls, there aren't a lot of structures still standing here that are original from the 1620. But just the design, again, we've managed to get through past all those guardhouses and over those walls and across the moat. And now, of course, we're approaching another moat. We're back sort of where we started again, aren't we? We've got another moat, another series of big walls, which would have all been covered in guardhouses again. So all the corners would have had guardhouses, and all the the parts that protrude from the walls would have had guardhouses. So then we have to get across this bridge, don't we? So I mentioned this on a previous video about Osaka Castle. It's the grounds are interesting, and to see the layout and the design and the moats and the walls and all those sorts of things are interesting, but it's not on our top 5 list of castles. You know, if you're only in Osaka or you're only in Japan for a few days and you're in Osaka, then it's probably worth looking at. The nice things about it are the grounds are nice. In spring there's lots of cherry blossoms, and in autumn there's lots of trees that have autumn colours. And the grounds themselves are quite nice, and you can see the layout of the castle. So I've managed to come across the second moat, and again guard towers on either side of us, and another 90-degree turn. See the 90-degree turn again, followed by another 90-degree turn. So they keep doing that, because every time they do that, you're surrounded by defenders, aren't you? So that on the left there would have been a tower, on the right there would have been a tower, and then across the wall there would have been dudes all the way along the wall there. Because that wall's only up to their waist on the other side. So they're standing there quite comfortably, raining down whatever they want. And there would have been a gatehouse here, another one of those wooden gatehouses. Every time you see one of those 90-degree turns, there would have been a gatehouse that you had to get through. So you can see there's a lot of structures missing, whereas Himeji, which is the most famous one probably in Japan, is World Heritage listed, and most of these buildings are still there. So when you do this walk from the very outside into the very centre of Himeji, most of those buildings are still there, and they're still original. So we also showed you another one near Nagoya that's called Inuyama Castle, which is only a small one, but it's still really original as well. So those ones that you'll find on our castles playlist, you know, that'd be our preference. If you're in Japan for a period of time, they're much better examples. I mean, Himeji's a must-see, and from Osaka it's not that far. You know, bullet train ride, and you're there. But again, you're in Osaka, you've got an afternoon to kill. Come over, walk around here, have a look at it. They're always an escape too, these places. You know, when you're in the middle of a busy city like Osaka, as you can hear, it's a pretty tranquil place to be. Pretty much. A little bit busy. They've put those ramps in that you would have noticed already, and that gives bicycles access, and lots of runners and joggers and people have access. So there's a bit of that going on. Bicycles whizzing by. So, sadly, World War II, lots of keeps were destroyed. This one was destroyed earlier than that and rebuilt in about 1920 maybe, something like that. And then since then they've added a glass elevator to it and some other things. And there's building over here, which is basically a big tourist thing. It's restaurants and ninja shows and sort of touristy stuff right there next to the keep. So it's a little bit sad. I mean, some people would enjoy being able to sit there in a restaurant and look at the keep. That's fine. But it's a little bit sad to see that. That's sort of inevitable. They used space over the years. They used space around castles for things like this because usually they're in the middle of cities and big pieces of land that weren't being used, so they built that on it. So there's that. And then, of course, the keep is a reproduction. It's made of concrete and it has elevators. So we didn't go into it because we showed you that sort of thing before. It's just concrete rooms, basically. It's just built for the image there. It's a reproduction to give you the idea of what it would have looked like. But when you go inside, it's just a concrete museum, basically. That's just to give you the idea what it would look like, the original would look like. So yeah, it's okay. If you have some time in Osaka, have a couple of hours to spend, have a walk around the gardens, it's quite nice, as you saw. Anyway, there it was. More videos coming soon.